Hello, this is Akiko Sudano at StampinInTheMeadows.com in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to make a card today with the pretty Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set and the sunflower dies. And these guys are on the current retiring list. And so they'll be retiring soon. And they're going to be going also on sale, I believe, on Tuesday when the last chance items sale starts. So take a look for that. And oh goodness, what did I do? Okay, so first thing, before I get started with my card, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the card. Hi Karen, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Let me see here. I'm looking for my video and I don't see it yet, so I can't reply to the comments yet. So hold on just a second. I just refreshed my browser. Let's see if the things start to show up now. Yeah, okay, there we go. Sorry it took so long. Before I get started with my card, I want to first of all, thank you all for joining me. I know things have been really crazy for me and I've been very erratic, so I really appreciate folks coming on and joining me this afternoon. But before I get started with my card, I want to show you this quick little since next weekend is Easter, and it's this is like a little container with the pillow box dies, and this is the that pretty flowers and more designer series paper. That's the host designer series paper, but it's so colorful, and I thought that this was really pretty and pretty much appropriate for Easter. And this is, I just love the little flower that is in there, and I decorated it with two of the flower gems that I'll be using for today's card, and this pretty striped paper, and then this parakeet party baker's twine, which that's the first time I've used that, which it turned out to be a good use for that baker's twine. So today's card is, thank you, Amy. Today's card is going to use the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. And I love this stamp set because you've got these gorgeous sentiments and the gorgeous sunflowers. And the stamped sunflowers are just really realistic looking and pretty. They're great for coloring. But I'm going to use this sentiment, and I'm going to use the sunflower dies, because the sunflower dies I think are also very pretty. And I've pretty much basically die cut all of my items here. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with assembling my card. So I'm also using the Regency Park Designer Series paper, and I've started with a panel of the Balmy Blue Regency Park paper, and I'm using a thick basic white cardstock. So I'm going to adhere this with liquid glue, and I'm just going to put it over here, and I'm going to just center this designer series paper on the front of the cardstock card base, and make sure I'm folding it the right way. And there we go, and just kind of center it on the front of the card, kind of serve as a background, so you have a little bit of a white border and the balmy blue background. There we go. Now, I've also taken a Petal Pink panel, and this is just Petal Pink cardstock, and I've embossed it with the cane weave embossing folder, and I'm going to adhere that to a Night of Navy matte. So, and I'm going to adhere it with liquid glue. So you have a little bit of a dark border around it, which I think will set it off against the balmy blue background. But there you've got the texture, and that's really pretty. And I'm going to adhere this to the card front with liquid glue. And I'm just going to adhere it to the side. And I just want to try to keep it straight. And that's always a challenge for me. That looks fairly straight. Okay, so I just made it crooked. There we go. I think that's good. All right, so I thank you, Cheryl. I I love the Regency Park paper, and I think that everything is just really sweet with that. So I have a in the die set of the sunflowers dies, you have the detailed sunflower, and then you have the outline sunflower. And I've cut the outline sunflower. I've cut the designer series paper with the outline sunflower, and I cut the detailed sunflower out of the sweet sorbet, and that goes with the sweet sorbet inside the designer series paper. And then I also cut another piece of that with the Saffron cardstock, and this is this part of the die. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to finish trimming off the edges. You can see that I just got a smaller square, and then it leaves all of these little edges. And what you need to do is just trim off the edges, and I think you just don't want to have sharp edges because that will look funny, but it's an irregular shape, so you don't have to be too careful with trimming these things off. And it gives you a little contrast on the inside, which I think is kind of nice. And this this is basically a card design that when this set first came out years ago, I don't even remember how long ago it came out, I did this with some of the other floral designer series paper, and I thought it was pretty good, and so I wanted to recreate it with the Regency Park paper because that's got the small florals in lots of pretty colors, and it's kind of updated, so I think it will look pretty. So I'm going to just adhere the center. You can see I've trimmed off all of those little excess things, and I'm not even going to line it up. Be careful about how I'm lining it up. I'm going to just stick it on here. I think it's okay. And on the on the Saffron one, I was careful to try to pop out all of the dots so that you could see some of the red coming through on the inside. On the inside, I didn't care whether or not, sometimes they fall out and sometimes they didn't, and it didn't matter whether, oh, there's one that did fall out, so it doesn't matter if it falls out or not. Because I think you'll get a little bit of a contrast. And then I'm going to take this one, and what I want to do is I want to these two cards pieces I do want to line up. And one of the things that the help is that you'll have part of the die where you have a little bit of a curve, and so you want to line it up like that, and then you'll get a pretty good way that they line up where the petals kind of curve right there like that. So I'm going to adhere this with dimensionals, and my little half dimensionals are perfect because I can put them right on the thing here. They're already cut, so oops, except this one is the end, so it had to be torn off. We'll get one more. Pull this one from the end here, and I'll pull off my covers. And find my curvy petals and then line them up. Let's see. That's kind of good. Yep, there we go. All right, and then there's also this little die right here, and I cut one of those also, and I've got to find it, and I cut it out of Saffron. Here it is. So I'm going to just add a little bit of liquid glue to that, and just a little bit, and then let's see if I can slide this on the inside here underneath. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. It looks like it's going to fight me on this. Maybe if I bend it just a little bit, I can get it through. There we go. Just bend it a little bit and push it down, and then push the last piece down flat. Then I can move it around a little bit there, and then hold it till the glue adheres. There. So this is my flower. So you've got the pretty Saffron center with the designer series paper, and you've got the sweet sorbet. If I didn't say that already, that's a sweet sorbet in the detail there. So it's most sunflowers are yellowish, but this one is kind of red, but that's okay. So then what I did was I took another piece of the designer series paper that's got a lot of the green in the background, and I cut 3 leaves. And then I also cut the detailed leaves out of shaded spruce cardstock. And before I cut it out, I adhered the adhesive sheets to the back, so that, because these are really, really thin, and the adhesive sheets make it really easy to pull off the, you just pull off the covers, and then you line it up, and you can just adhere these easily, and it's not nearly as messy as with liquid glue gushing out. And then it adds just a little bit more green to the leaves and a little bit more detail, so if people look closely, they'll be able to see that. And I did the first one already ahead of time, so I'm doing the last 2. And with this, you can easily see you've got the shaded spruce cardstock, so you can tell that the cover for the adhesive sheets is on here, which is a bonus. Sometimes if you have a white backing on your cardstock that you're trying to adhere, it's a little bit hard to see, but it's really easy with the solid cardstock. And there we go. And just adhere this, and it doesn't, you have a little bit of time to move things around with the adhesive sheets with that if you don't press on it, but it's not going to really matter if they're not perfectly aligned. I think that's fine. All right, so I've got 3 leaves and a flower. Now I'm going to arrange these leaves kind of down on the side here, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and make my label. And I have mounted that "Know That You Are Loved" sentiment on my stamp block, and I'm going to stamp it in Night of Navy ink. And I'm going to stamp it kind of over to the side here. I just love the fonts in this stamp set. And I have that smallest little kind of fancy rectangle die from the Something Fancy dies. So I'm going to cut that out with that. And I have my die cutting machine right behind me. So I'm going to take this over to the die cutting machine and run this through. And I'll be right back when I am done. And big thing is to try to keep that sentiment straight with my die cut on the top there. There we go. And here's the die cut. Okay, so I've got all of my elements here for my card, and I'm going to put the the label up kind of on the top here. I want to make sure I've got room for my, I want to make sure that I've got room for my flowers, my leaves and my flower. And then I'm going to I made a bow out of the Balmy Blue and White variegated ribbon, and I'll set that on the front here too. But I think something like that is good. So let's go ahead and adhere these. And I'll first start with my label. And I think what I'll do is I'll use glue dots on this side where it overlaps this, and I will use dimensionals on the side that is directly on the card base. Glue dots are right here. And I think one will be fine. Yes, there we go. And it goes on just straight with a little bit of the petal pink border at the top there, like that. And since this is embossed and you've got the matte, I think that the spacing, it feels pretty flat and it feels pretty good. So I'm going to adhere my leaves with glue dots. Let me see if this technique works. I got it. Good. Put 2 glue dots on this leaf. Stick this one right here. Do the same here. So these two are going to be together. Now let me do some positioning again. And I think I'm going to go ahead and adhere my flower with glue dots. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I think it's going. This Night and Navy is pretty good. It's a pretty paper also. This is not working out very well. I think I will just peel off my glue dots with my tweezers. There, let's get one more. Put on the center here. Yeah, put them around the center is fine. And then it's a matter of which way we want to orient it. And I think you can do it any which way, really. So put it right here, like this. And then we'll do a glue dot with a bow. I'm going to stick the bow on before I put this last leaf on. Put right there, and then stick a couple of glue dots behind the leaf, and stick it right there. Stay on the card. I need to do this so that I can make sure that the leaf, I stick it underneath all of the layers of the flower, and like that. There. So then I think I need to have some embellishments on this, and what I'm going to do is, I love these flowers, and so I'm going to put some of these flowers on. Actually, I'm just going to put a couple of them on. Put one on the label, put a yellow one up on the label here, and then I think, I don't know if this is Starry Sky or Night and Navy, but I think that the blues will work too. So I'll put a couple of the blue ones on the Balmy Blue background. I think that looks good. So that's the card front. And for the inside of the card, I'm going to keep this pretty simple. I'm going to just put a piece of Designer Series paper on my basic white panel with liquid glue. And I used the ones with the flowers. I thought that would be pretty. More flowers. I'm ready for flowers. I'm ready for spring. There we go. And I'll trim the end. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Cheryl. And then I will use, oh, and I didn't bring my Stampin' seal. Here we go. Put my card inside on with Stampin' seal. put it on the Balmy Blue mat. Looks good. There we go. Slid up. There we go. Okay. And then get this on the inside of the card. Now the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator pre-order is on Tuesday, and that's when I will be also ordering catalogs for my customers. So if you're a customer and you've placed an order with me, then I will be sending you a catalog as soon as I get them. And then next week, I know next week is Easter, and I am a little, I was a little not sure whether I would do another video on Easter, but I am also going to put a pre-order in, so I'm going to plan to come on next week on Easter and do a sneak peek with one of the new stamp sets from the upcoming catalog. Thank you, Karen, and thank you everyone for watching me today, and have a great week, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye-bye.